Hello there, welcome to my channel. So take your time to choose between the piles. If you need to pause the video, pause. If you don't feel drawn to any piles, then you're welcome to listen and see what resonates and what doesn't. These are collective readings, so take what resonates and just leave the rest. And these are for entertainment purposes only, so don't make big life decisions based on these readings. And yeah, I'll see you in your pile. Hello, pile one. So if you chose pile one, what I do see here is clarity coming when it comes to a relationship. Maybe you were working, it's either that you were working on something and then even let's say you're very focused on finding an answer, understanding something, and then you're focusing on something else, and then you get clarity about what you should do about in regards to your relationship. There's clarity regardless of what it is. There's clarity when it comes to your relationship after a time of uncertainty, hidden things. This could also be someone who was conflict avoidant, finally expressing themselves after a period of stagnation or evaluation. And this is especially true if you tend to show up as this Queen of Wands, or if you're dealing with a Queen of Wands figure, because we have the Queen of Wands opening the reading. So I'll try to clarify what is happening, because here I see conflict, and clarifying that I have the Seven of Swords and then I have the Knight of Swords. So maybe in order to have clarity, there's a need to confront something. Sometimes in relationships, some people are afraid of, telling something because they're afraid of how the person they're dealing with is going to receive it. So let's say, yeah, there's a need of communication and clarity here. Clarify the Seven of Pentacles. So this would be someone having clarity about how they feel about you, and then actually, because what is coming your way is the Magician, Hierophant, and Three of Wands. So this could be someone after a time of stagnation or a period of lack of certainty and clarity. There is the Magician, Hierophant, and Three of Wands, which is, there is movement and future planning, and maybe even commitment. So let's say, yeah, maybe this is someone finally realizing that either they need to work on their relationship or they want to work in the relationship. And this talks about uncertainty. I need to reevaluate. Why is the Seven of Swords here? What was hidden? Someone was uncertain, or maybe they had options, but they finally realized what they actually want, and they want to throw themselves in a situation. So this does look like a love reading. And we have the Six of Cups at the bottom. So what this looks like here is clarity about a relationship, clarity after a period of Seven of Pentacles again, clarity after a period of reevaluation and stillness. I don't have the Hanged Man, but when someone is not certain about something, they could be, a bit slow or just not making a decision. But after that, we have the Ace of Cups, which is someone finally, let's say they had other options. Maybe they were seeing other people, they weren't certain about their feelings and what they wanted. But then it's the clarity comes, and then they want to take a risk or try, take a chance. And this does look with the Four of Wands that this has a promising future with the Four of Wands here. So yeah, so if you were uncertain about someone's feelings for you, I do think you will have clarity. And things that were hidden, they will be revealed. With the moon 2 times, yeah, this person, or there could have been illusions, fantasies. So I think you will have clarity and you'll see their situation for what it really is. And this does look like it has potential. And if someone was doing something wrong, maybe behind your back, this person is likely to want to make things right, to rush in and try to make things right. And they do see, they're in the planning stages. This could be talking about someone who is planning, what am I going to do next? But then once they're clear, they act and they want to make things right. So especially if this was someone who did something that's sneaky or something like that, I do think they want to make things right. Now, if that doesn't make sense, then this is someone who was not clear, finally becoming clear and wanting to communicate, wanting to make things clear finally. And so we have here so I'm asking, what does this person want? They want completion. It's like the world is completion when you have everything. 6 of Cups. This can also talk about closure as well, but if it doesn't look so much like closure here because we have the 6 of Cups. It does look like someone who wants the reconciliation, even if it's just to remain as friends, especially if you did have conflict with this person. I do think they want peace. They want a reconciliation. But because I saw the 4 of Wands and all of that, I don't think this is just a friendship thing. But they do want, because we have the world, so the world is like having everything, It can also talk about social media, it can also talk about... So what do they want here? Yeah, this person wants, if you have someone who wants to reconcile with you, which is likely, that's what I'm seeing here. I just see someone who wants to make things right, who after a time of, like I said, reevaluation, they want to communicate, they want to make things right. Because they had clarity, and some people are like that. They don't have certainty in when they're dealing with someone. They need time away to process the situation and see if that's what they want or not. So this looks like someone who needed some time apart to either reevaluate, or this is someone who was hiding something and maybe being confusing, and there's uncertainty here. There could be illusions and all of that. So the overall message, regardless of the specifics of the situation, is clarity coming after a period of uncertainty. For some people, sometimes I'll get a very straight answer, sometimes I get quite a few potentials, and here I'm getting quite a few potentials. So for some people, this is someone coming back and wanting to make things right, especially if they were deceitful, if they were confusing, deceitful, mixed signals. They needed some time away to process and see what they want. And now they want to come back, take a risk, and actually, put in an effort and, and have communication. For some people, there was there could have been fights, arguments, and and things like that because of hidden things. Someone wasn't being clear, honest, and whatever. But now this person is coming and actually telling the truth and being clear. And for some people, it's like, well, it's good now that I have the closure and the clarity, and I want to move on from this situation with peace and integrity. And yeah, that's the Justice card as well. So, and for some people, this could be just finding the truth of a situation, discovering the truth of the situation, and deciding what they want to do. So this could be you also finding something out about a person and deciding what you want to do next. So if you pick this pile, the overall theme here is just clarity after a period of uncertainty. And for some people, so you're going to know the future, likely life will tell you. And 8 of Pentacles, this is work, this is working on something. A tangible new beginning, exciting tangible new beginnings, and clarity with the Sun, and change. So this is regardless of the specific situation. So whether it works out with a specific person or not, there is, there will be a tangible new beginning here, but that is also exciting. So let's say if it's a bit disappointing that this person was deceiving you, that they're not trustworthy, you're still fine. Maybe you're still going to get another opportunity. You're going to distract yourself with other exciting things like projects and work, or you meet someone who's fun, exciting, and you have a tangible beginning with that person. Regardless, here there's clarity after a period of uncertainty and change with the Wheel of Fortune and clarity. So this is your surprise message here. And I don't see this like huge disappointments. I don't see anything sad. I just see clarity when it comes to a relationship, And for some people, it's going to lead to a 4 of Wands, which is a committed partnership. For some people, it's just, this isn't for me. This person isn't compatible with me. But regardless, you will be fine. Regardless of what happens, you'll be fine. So that's what I have. Because, after all, this is the Queen of Wands. She has good self-esteem. She is attractive. So that's what I have for this pile. Thank you. So here I have the King of Coins for pile 2. King of Coins could talk about either someone you're dealing with, or this is you being successful. This could be a financial reading, or just, let's see. I need the whole context here. So, Death. This could be talking about an ending to loneliness or a sense of lack materially, transformation when it comes to finances. I'm being drawn to the Sun here. So with that, I'm really getting, with every ending, there's a new beginning. So, and I do see ending of a difficult period, a period of loneliness, lack, or just financial lack. So here we have so why is the 4 of Swords here? Let's see. I think if you were this is peace of mind to me with the 4 of Wands, 4 of Swords actually, and Devil. It's like freedom from fears, freedom from lack, freedom from feeling powerless, freedom from being alone. There's a huge transformation here, and there are brighter things ahead with the Sun card, with the Sun, and not the Sun card, but the Sun here. So if you're going through an ending right now, just know that or if you're going through a transition phase where things are ending around you or in your life, this in-between stage, I mean, you're just ending something. So, and there are better things ahead, even more prosperity. The sun is a symbol as well of, of prosperity in the occult. And here with the King of Coins being the first card here, I do see an improvement in your finances, improvement in your living circumstances, being able to rest and be, more carefree, freedom from this devil energy, which is fear, fear being tied to situations that are not healthy or situations that just aren't fulfilling, satisfying, and an end to loneliness. The Queen of Swords is also, Queen of Swords and Five of Pentacles could be someone who is very smart, competent, she's all of that, but she can be a little bit bitter because she went through a lot, and she can show someone who's not a loner in the sense, but someone who feels alone. And Five of Pentacles, I do see here though, overall message here is an improvement in your finances, a big transformation, but there is a bit of a difficult ending first. So you'll see things falling apart, maybe people leaving your life, and because you're changing, and this in between, this transition phase can be a bit lonely, can be a bit difficult, but eventually you'll see how you're transforming and getting to the sun here. It's a bit of the quote, it's always darkest before the dawn. So you're about to enter the sun, but right now you're experiencing the in-between where things are ending and all of that, and things are still a bit slower, and it's almost like, well, but nothing's happening and I just keep losing things, and it could be that. But I do see here peace. So if with the Four of Swords, I always see the rest before a lot of hard work, or rest after a lot of hard work, after a lot of effort. Let's say you were putting a lot of effort into something, now you get to rest. Or you had a lot of worries about something was burdening you, and now you're finally free from this devil, Ten of Wands energy, which is, could be weighing you down. So that's what I see. I see a transition period here of maybe things ending, living your life, things that were not satisfactory to begin with, and then, being able to finally rest, to recover, and freedom from stress, from things tying you down to situations that you don't like, or people that make you feel bad. And yeah, so these are the things I see here. This could be talking about building foundations, building stronger foundations for the future, seeing what am I going to take from this life to the new life, with the Judgment card. We are in a year 9, so we are ending something collectively. We're all ending things, and we're going to a number 1 year in 2026. So it's collectively, a lot of people are ending cycles and beginning new ones, and this is why these themes show up from time to time. It's because that's the year 9. It's ending. You're not quite there yet. You're not quite in the new life totally, but you're experiencing maybe some loss, maybe some nostalgia. The 9 has that. So We're all collectively going through it on some level, in some area of our lives. And judgment is like, what am I going to take? And, you know, maybe it's good for you if you have been through a difficult cycle in your life, a long cycle, you know, and this is taking time to heal, to process things, to even meditate, to just rest, and having time to reevaluate what do you want your next life to look like? What do you want your next phase, how you want it to look like? And this is planning. I have all these things that I have the world, I have the globe here, and now what do I want to do next? And Emperor talks about foundations and building solid foundations for this next phase of your life. So I do see that you could be ending a cycle, you could be in this in-between, if this message is for you, you could be in this in-between stage, but there's a great transition here that maybe it does feel difficult at first, but eventually leads to a lot more abundance and prosperity. Especially abundance and prosperity, especially that. And freedom from bondage and things that weigh you down and toxic connections and things like that. So tell me more. Hello, pile 3. So if you chose pile 3, I have the 10 of Pentacles here. I have the butterfly, which could be talking about transformation. I have 10 of Pentacles. It's a card of legacy, financial abundance, having not only for yourself, but for your whole family. I can also talk about long-term commitments like marriage, something stable. Let's see. Three of Swords is a very difficult card. Yeah. Interesting that we have a very different card in the middle of two very difficult cards, because I'm not going to flower things, not flower things, but I'm not going to look at everything with rose-colored glasses, which the Page of Cups can do. Because literally we have a Three of Swords and a Tower. Tower is not an easy card. Three of Swords is not a feel-good card. And we have the Page of Cups. And interesting because I thought of rose-colored glasses here. So be careful that you are not... Yeah, we'll see here. Because the situation that I have is literally this guy that sees things. He's a bit immature, he's young. He wears his heart on his sleeves, and he's sentimental. It's like crush energy. It's when you have a crush on someone, if you... And then we have these two very difficult cards here, so we'll see what else about this. Yeah, innocence. Three of Pentacles. This could be rebuilding something after a Tower moment. Rebuilding something after a Tower moment. That's how I see these cards. After a heartbreak, disappointment. So believing in love again after heartbreak. Sudden, unexpected. This could be talking about yourself, healing yourself after a difficult heartbreak. So let's say you got very disappointed, you had hopes for a relationship, you had a crush on someone, or you just regardless of what the specifics of the situation, I see here rebuilding something after heartbreak and disappointment. And believing, instead of becoming bitter, so there's this message here, instead of losing this Page of Cups, which in Six of Cups, which is, you know, this almost like childlike innocence, this, you know, this believing in genuine love, you know, all these things, maintaining that even after disappointments and rebuilding from there. Rebuilding, let's say, because the Tower, it takes it's not a difficult card. It's not an easy card. This is a very difficult card. This is also, so this is literally rebuilding, having a strong heart. You do have a strong heart, because even after disappointments, you still believe in love. You didn't become a Queen of Swords reversed, jaded, bitter, or angry. So it's, if you are becoming like the Queen of Swords, this is talking about getting in touch with that part of yourself that believes in love, you know, believes that things can be rebuilt, believes that you can believe in love again. It believes that, so there's an inner emotional healing that is needed. It's not even in so much that, it's just reconnecting with this soft, tender part of yourself, even when things around you are difficult, chaotic, painful, and all of that. I mean, we can still choose to and let's say, I'm not saying that, oh, you know, become delusional, or no, I'm not seeing that, because this page in the Six of Cups, it talks about having a very sweet, you know, very, very pure heart and innocence, not purity, not so much innocence, like, you know, it seems like there was hurt, you know, and there's a need to preserve this part of you that still believes in love, that is still, you know, still is romantic, you know, and all of that. And there's a need as well to rebuild things in a practical way. You don't need to lose your softness. You don't need to lose, you know, your softness, your tenderness, your, you know, yeah, your innocence, I guess. You don't need to lose all these things. You just need to, now that you've gained these experiences, you need to learn the lessons, not become bitter, and rebuild from that. And rebuild something solid from that. Instead of, you know, yeah. So if you have been through a lot of this, or this is just saying that this is what you're doing and this is a great thing. It's good to believe, to, you know, still believe in love after a lot of disappointment.